You know, it's funny how life works sometimes. We go through our days, racing from one task to another, chasing after promotions, accumulating possessions, and trying to keep up with the relentless pace of modern society. We hustle hard, believing that success is measured by the size of our bank accounts or the titles we hold. But then something happens. We hit a wall. We face a setback, a loss, or a moment of profound realization that shakes us to our core. And in that moment of vulnerability, we often find ourselves reflecting on deeper truths, truths that have been around for thousands of years, shared by ancient Chinese philosophers like Confucius, Laozi, and Zhuangzi. Let's start with Confucius. His teachings revolve around the concept of self-cultivation. It's not just about accumulating knowledge, it's about nurturing virtues like kindness, honesty, and patience. Confucius believed that before you can lead others, you must first lead yourself. Think about that for a second. How often do we prioritize our external achievements over our internal growth? We chase after promotions and accolades, thinking they'll bring us happiness, only to find ourselves feeling empty when we achieve them. It's only when we face challenges or setbacks that we realize the foundation of true fulfillment lies in self-cultivation. It's about becoming the best version of ourselves, not for the sake of others, but for our own peace and happiness. Now, let's shift gears to Laozi. His philosophy teaches us about the concept of Tao, or the natural way of the universe. He introduced the idea of Wu Wei, which translates to non-action or non-interference. In a world where we're constantly trying to control every aspect of our lives, our careers, relationships, even our emotions, Laozi reminds us that sometimes the best course of action is to let go and go with the flow. Imagine how liberating that would be. Instead of fighting against the current, we learn to navigate it. We stop pushing against life's obstacles and instead start to accept them. It's in those moments of acceptance that we often find peace. But let's be honest, how many of us only come to this realization after we've exhausted ourselves trying to control everything around us? It's a hard lesson, but one that can lead to a more tranquil existence if we learn it sooner rather than later. Then there's Zhuangzi, who takes this idea of letting go even further. He teaches us about the impermanence of life and the fleeting nature of material possessions. In our society, we're bombarded with messages that tell us happiness comes from success, wealth, and status. We chase after these things, thinking they'll fill the void within us. But what Zhuangzi points out is that these attachments are often the very things that weigh us down. When we cling too tightly to fame, fortune, or even our ambitions, we create stress and anxiety in our lives. It's only when we face loss or a significant life crisis that we often come to the painful realization that these attachments didn't bring us the happiness we expected. Zhuangzi encourages us to let go, to simplify our lives, and to find freedom in detachment. Imagine how much lighter we would feel if we didn't have to carry the weight of our possessions and ambitions. Speaking of simplicity, let's talk about the importance of living a simple life. In today's fast-paced world, we often equate happiness with complexity, more possessions, more experiences, more everything. But the ancient philosophers remind us that true happiness often lies in appreciating the small things in life. It's about finding joy in a quiet moment, a good book, or a walk in nature. When we simplify our lives, we create space for peace and contentment. Yet, how many of us only realize this after years of chasing after things that ultimately don't bring us joy? It's a bittersweet truth, but one that can lead to profound transformation if we choose to embrace it earlier. And let's not forget the connection to nature. Confucius, Laozi, and Zhuangzi all emphasized the importance of our relationship with the natural world. In our modern lives, we spend so much time in concrete jungles, glued to screens, that we often forget to step outside and breathe in the fresh air. The stress and fatigue we feel can often be traced back to this disconnection from nature. It's only when we face health issues, mental crises, or life-altering events that we realize how vital it is to reconnect with the world around us. Nature offers us balance and tranquility, reminding us to slow down and appreciate the beauty in simplicity. We should take the time to walk barefoot on the grass, listen to the rustle of leaves, and soak in the sunlight. These small moments can restore our inner peace and help us find clarity in the chaos of life. So, what can we take away from these timeless philosophies? The lessons from ancient Chinese thinkers are as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago. They teach us about the importance of self-cultivation, the value of going with the flow, the freedom found in letting go, the joy of simplicity, and the necessity of reconnecting with nature. Unfortunately, many of us only recognize the worth of these lessons after facing difficulties or losses. But what if we could learn them earlier? What if we could integrate these philosophies into our lives now, before the trials and tribulations hit? Imagine how much lighter, more peaceful, and more meaningful our lives could be. Life is a journey, and while we may stumble and fall along the way, we have the opportunity to learn from those who came before us. The wisdom of Confucius, Laozi, and Zhuangzi can guide us, offering insights that not only help us understand ourselves better, but also how to navigate the complexities of modern existence. So, let's take a moment to pause, reflect, and consider how we can apply these ancient lessons to our lives today. After all, the path to inner peace and fulfillment is not just a destination, it's a way of life, and it's never too late to start cultivating that path.